Frank Messer and Bob Gamere will bring you the play-by-play of this Yankee broadcast in just a moment.
Fenway Park is off to a second game in this four-game series as the New York Yankees, a game and a half out of first place, take on the fourth place Boston Red Sox. Last night the Yankees won a thriller by a score of 3-2, and tonight it'll be Sonny Siebert for Boston and Stan Thompson for the Yankees. The umpires making their appearance right now at Fenway Park, and it's time for the starting lineups, and here's Frank Messer.
Okay, Bob Gamere, thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Horace Clark will lead off for the Yankees at second base. Jerry Kenney will be at third and bat second. Bobby Mercer in center field hitting third. Roy White will be in left field and bat fourth. Batting fifth and playing first base, Danny Cater. Herman Munson will do the catching and bat sixth. In right field, hitting seventh, Kurt Leffery. Ron Hansen will be at shortstop and bat eighth, and Stan Bonson on the mound for the Yankees. He has won 4 and he has lost 4. Bonson lifetime against Boston is 6-3, and lifetime in the league 31 wins and 33 losses. Ron Hansen at shortstop for Gene Michael, who has an injury. Michael pulled a muscle in the upper part of his chest during the course of last night's ball game. It hurts him when he throws. He was in the original starting lineup, but during infield and workouts, he discovered that there was quite a twinge when he threw the ball, so he has been scratched from the starting lineup tonight. Whether he will be back tomorrow night or not, we'll have to wait and see then. Now for the Boston Red Sox, leading off and playing second base, Mike Andrews. Reggie Smith will be in center field, hit second. Carl Yastrzemski moves to first base, batting third. Tony Canigliaro in right field will hit fourth. At shortstop, the number 5 hitter is Rico Petrocelli. He had 2 hits last night, both of them home runs, his 10th and 11th of the year. At third base, George Scott. Billy Canigliaro will be in left field and bat seventh. The catcher and number 8 hitter is Tom Satriano, and pitching tonight for Boston, right-hander Sonny Siebert. Siebert this year has won 5 and lost 4. Lifetime against the Yankees, he is 8 and 7. So you notice a rather radical change in the Boston Red Sox starting lineup, with Carl Yastrzemski moved into first base, Billy Canigliaro going into left field, George Scott moving over to third, and Tom Satriano catching instead of Jerry Moses. And now the Red Sox take the field. The umpires tonight: at home plate, Russ Getz; at first base, John Denkinger; at second base, Art France; and at third base, Nestor Shylock. The crowd tonight will be larger, I believe, than the one last night, when there were over 26,000 here. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. For Washington, Schellenbach in the 5th, and Dick Stutch in the 6th inning. Palmer started for Baltimore with Grabowski pitching in the 6th. That's the first game of a doubleheader. At the end of 3 innings and the first of 2 in Atlanta, it is Houston 3 and Atlanta 4. Dillingham started for Houston. Reed relieved in the early innings. McQueen pitching for Atlanta. 4-3 at the end of 3. And this afternoon at Wrigley Field in Chicago, a 16-inning ball game won by St. Louis 5-2 over the Chicago Cubs. Is that right? That's a pitcher that I am not familiar with. Was the winner for St. Louis. And Steve Barber, the ex-Yankee, was the loser for the Chicago Cubs. Right now, we're watching Sonny Siebert complete his warm-up tosses. The Red Sox whip the ball around the infield. Horace Clark is ready to lead off for the Yankees. And ready to step in behind the microphone and describe all the action for you, ladies and gentlemen. Here again is Bob Gamere. Bob?
Thank you, Frank, and we're off to a big weekend here in Boston. The Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon. And Horace Clark will lead it off. Horace has a .261 batting average, and what a change in this Red Sox defensive alignment tonight. For the first time this season, Kyle Yastrzemski is at first base. George Scott around at third. The windup, the pitch to Clark from Siebert. Ball one at low. 1 ball and no strike. Yastrzemski came up to the Red Sox as a shortstop out of Notre Dame. And he has played in the infield periodically. Last year he played quite a bit of first base. But it's the first time this season. 1-0 to Horace Clark, the windup. He runs up to bunt, takes the ball, strike one. 1-1. Sonny Siebert with a record of 5 wins and 4 losses. Is yet to get a decision this year against the Yankees. Lifetime against New York, 8 wins and 7 losses. Siebert was in that very controversial Ken Harrelson trade. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high pop-up right behind home plate. Satriano, the catcher, circling under it, waiting for it to come down. Got it, 1 out. So Horace Clark pops out to Tom Satriano, the catcher. There's 1 out. And Jerry Kenney steps in. With a batting average of .202. Jerry had a spectacular night at third base last night, and especially in the 9th inning. He also doubled in the first inning to score the first Yankee run. It was an accident, however. He was trying to check his swing, and the ball hit the bat and went down the left field line for a double. Jerry batting left-handed. Sonny Siebert into the windup. In comes the pitch. Slow curve, it's low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strike. 1-0 to Jerry Kenney. The outfield, the Red Sox have Reggie Smith in center and the brothers Canigliaro. Billy in left, Tony in right. Siebert into the windup, the pitch to Kenney. Curve low for ball 2, 2 balls and no strike. Siebert had a sore arm last year. Didn't tell the Red Sox about it until near the end of the season. That was the reason Cleveland got rid of him to Boston. But this year, he's back in the Red Sox rotation and he's won 5 games. 2-0 to Kenney. Here it comes. There it goes, foul. Right up 2 boxes away from us, back down. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You look down there at Jerry Kenney. He was such a valuable cog in last night's victory with 2 excellent defensive plays in the 9th inning of the ball game, plus the fact that Jerry, after getting on base, stole second and scored the run that proved to be the winning run for the Yankees.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Low for ball 3, 3-1. The last foul ball came up into a box where Joe Carr, who is one of the touring pros on the golf tour, is sitting tonight enjoying the ball game. Didn't get that one. 3 balls and 1 strike. A windup. The pitch is low for ball 4, and the Yankees have a base runner, the first of the evening. Jerry Kenney draws the base on ball. Drops on down to first, and Bobby Mercer steps in. Bobby Mercer, the recipient of a fine, cartoon, or sketch, we should say, perhaps, in the Boston Globe tonight. Mercer with a batting average of .268. Time is called. Mike Andrews, the second baseman, wants to tie his shoelace.
Similar situation last night in the 5th inning. Kenney drew a walk, stole second on the first pitch to Mercer, and then just a moment later scored on Mercer's base hit, the run that proved to be the winning run in the ball game. The Yankees are going to utilize their speed, I think, even a little bit more. They're going to start taking a longer lead and going into more of a running game. We'll watch it, Bob.
Here's the stretch. And the pitch is the pitch out, and they were watching him too, Frank. 4-1.
I wasn't a bit surprised at that pitch out. I was surprised last night when they did not pitch out with Kenny at first base on the first pitch to Mercer. Tonight they did it, but he wasn't going. Sorry.
1-0. Kenny has the lead. Patriano flashes the sign. Throw to first, and Kenny gets back. They're paying a lot of attention to Jerry. I tell you, the Yankees have been timing their steals very well this year. A lot of times these teams have pitched out, and the Yankees haven't been going any place, and of course it all counts. Another throw to first, and Kenny's back. And every time you draw a throw, there's a possibility of an error.
3 of the last 5 Yankee stolen bases have resulted in runs being scored.
1-0 the count. The pitch to Mercer, swing and a high pop. Heading out between third and short. Petrocelli is under it. The shortstop grabs it, and there are 2 outs. 2 outs, and here's Roy White. White went hitless in last night's ball game. However, he still has a comfortable .354 batting average. White is 10 points behind Rod Carew. Carew has a batting average of .364, and Roy White .354. White has had 13 hits in his last 22 at-bats. Jerry Kenny on first with 2 outs. Kenny with 8 stolen bases. Carl Yastrzemski holding the bag. Stevens checks Kenny, delivers. Pitch outside, ball 1. That might have been a pitch out again. 1 ball and no strikes. If it was not way wide. And if it was not a pitch out, then the pitch was way outside. 1 ball and no strikes. There goes Kenny. The pitch is swung on a high pop-up, hit beyond third base. George got in foul territory. Backing up, falls down and makes the catch. George Scott, playing his first game at third base, fell down, made the catch, and they had to hear that in China. For the Yankees, in the top of the first, no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left to go to the bottom of the first. The Yankees nothing, and the Red Sox coming up.
Jerry Wozlewski comparing the spirit of the 1970 Yankees with that of the 1967 Boston Red Sox. Well, now we look at Stan Bronson on the hill for the Yankees. Stan comes on for his second start this year against the Red Sox. He faced them April 16th here in Fenway Park. Gave up 5 runs in 6 1/3 innings. Had no decision. The Yankees lost, but Jack Aker was the losing pitcher in relief. Incidentally, Bronson made his major league debut here in Fenway Park on September 6, 1966. And quite a debut it was. He struck out the side in his first inning of pitching, batting Joe Foy, who is now the third baseman for the New York Mets, Carl Yastrzemski, and Tony Caniglio. Again, the Yankees defensively will have Ron Hansen at shortstop tonight. You missed my opening remarks. Gene Michael came up with an injury in last night's ball game, actually. He pulled a muscle in the upper part of his chest on the right side, swinging the bat during the course of last night's game. And tonight noticed that it very much hindered his throwing. So he had to be scratched from the starting lineup. So Ron Hansen is in at shortstop.
Mike Andrews will lead it off for the Boston Red Sox. Andrews' batting average is .220 as he stepped in. Stan Bronson, a record of 4-4. Lifetime, he's 131, lost 33 in the big league. Against the Red Sox, he's 6-3. On from the right-handed to Andrews batting right-handed, and it's low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strike. No score in the ball game. Bottom half of the first inning. Andrews, Smith, and Yastrzemski. First 3 batters for the Red Sox. Andrews a right-hander. Smith switches, and Yaz lefty. 1 ball, no strike. Here it comes, and it's low for ball 2. 2 balls and no strike. Mike Andrews, like Horace Clark of the Yankees, likes to hit that first pitch as a rule. 2-0 the count. Not unusual for a leadoff man, but on both these ball clubs, that's the situation. Next pitch right in there for the called strike. It's 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yankee infield, Kenny the third baseman, Hansen the shortstop. Horace Clark at second, Danny Cater at first. Thompson winds, delivers, Andrews swings. Oh, right! It keeps the left of the field. Mercer going back, way back. And the ball is a home run. The ball just made it by 1 foot over the center field fence. In fact, it hit at the base of the flagpole. But it is a home run. The windup, the pitch to the left-handed batting to foul wall. Up on the roof, right over us, strike one. No balls and one strike to Reggie Smith. Bobby Mercer got back there. He went back as far as he could. Then he backed off to try and play it off the wall, and it just missed hitting the wall. No balls, one strike. Here's the pitch. Slow curve, it's up high, and it's 1-1. So the Red Sox lead it on a Fenway special, 1-0.
Bob, I was watching the ball through the binoculars, and it hit right on top of the wall, which is a home run. It bounced back up against the television camera and into the crowd there in the center field bleachers.
1-1 the count. The windup and the pitch. Fastball swing, a high fly, hit down the right field line. Going back as Cater, he's got a long run in foul territory. Looking up, and he makes the catch one-handed. One out. Well, that's two catches in foul territory. One by George Scott and one by Danny Gator. Nothing easy about those foul pops, and especially at this time of the day.
That was a real tough play for Danny Cater. He's one of the best in the league at first base and going after the foul pop-ups, or the pop-ups, period. He was going down. He had to watch the ball back over his right shoulder and reached out, one-handed it in a basket-type catch in front of him.
One out, and here's Carl Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski with a .269 average. Red Sox lead a 1-0 bottom of the first. Dan Bonson into the windup. Here's the pitch. Inside for ball one. Bonson last pitched on Sunday in Kansas City. Had no decision in the ball game. Well, the Yankees fell behind early by 2-0. Here's the windup and the pitch. Fastball line down the left field line. Foul and back into the seat. 1-1 to Yastrzemski. In that ball game, Bonson, after giving up the 2 runs, then got 14 men in a row out. The Yankees came back to tie it up and eventually to win it. 1 ball and 1 strike to Carl Yastrzemski. 1-0 Boston in the bottom of the first on Mike Andrews' home run. Here's the windup, the pitch to Yaz, swing and a hot shot. Here's the center field for a base hit. Bobby Mercer picks up the ball, throws on in the second, and Carl Yastrzemski holds at first with a solid single to center field. So the Red Sox have sent 3 men to the plate. They have a home run, a single, and a pop out. And here's Tony Canigliaro. Tony's hitting .307, 12 home runs, 1 triple, and a double. Dan Bonson looks in against the sign. This will be the first time he's had a stretch. Bonson goes to the belt. And the pitch. High and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strike. He just put an 8 up on the scoreboard for Washington, but I don't know whether that should be in the Baltimore box or not. Here's the stretch. And the pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strike. Got an 8-4 Washington up on the scoreboard. Bill Kane says it's got to be wrong. It would appear from reading the wire here that they've got it backwards. 2 balls and no strike. Fans all applauded. 2-0 the count. Dan Bonson checks the runner. Here it comes. There it goes. Foul back onto the screen, and 2 balls and 1 strike. Red Sox 1 and the Yankees nothing. Bottom half of the first inning. Bonson facing Canigliaro. Carl Yastrzemski is on first base and 1 out. Bonson has the sign, goes to the belt. The pitch to the plate, swing and a miss. Strike 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Canigliaro now wants plate umpire Russ Getz to have a look at the baseball. Getz is the umpire behind the plate. Don Denkinger at first. Doc France at second, and Nestor Shylock around the third. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Red Sox lead 1-0 in the first inning. Dan Bonson checks Canigliaro. Throws, and it's swung on and missed. There's a throw down to second, and Carl Yastrzemski is safe. Yastrzemski steals second as Tony Canigliaro strikes out. That
Actually, there was nobody at second. That might have shaken Munson up just a little bit. He threw to the bag. His throw was low, just a little bit to the left of the bag as we look at it. Clark came over to cover, grabbed the throw, but had to lean back and try to make the tag after having crossed the bag, and Yastrzemski slid in ahead of it.
In the meantime, they've made that correction out on the scoreboard. After pitch is Baltimore 8 and Washington 4. Here the Red Sox lead 1-0, 2 outs. Rico Petrocelli, who had 2 homers last night, takes strike 1 at the ball, no balls and 1 strike. Sonny Siebert against Dan Boston. Mike Andrews has homers, 1-0 Boston. On second base, Carl Yastrzemski, 2 outs. And the count is 0-1 to Petrocelli. Taking plenty of time, making Petrocelli wait. Now he goes to the belt. Checks he has off second. The pitch is a curve on outside. It's 1-1. Yankees and the Red Sox meeting for the 5th time at Fenway Park. Yankees have won 1. The Red Sox 3. At Yankee Stadium, it's 1-1. The club will be at Yankee Stadium another week or so. Here's the pitch. Swing a bounce right back to the box. Comeback ball. Boston threw to first in time, and the Sox retired. In the first inning for Boston, 1 run on 2 hits, no Yankee errors, and a man left. At the end of 1, it's Boston 1, and the Yankees nothing.
Well, the Yankees' first bat day of the year was so successful, and so many people had to be turned away, that the Yankees have scheduled a second bat day. It will be held on Sunday afternoon, July 19th, a doubleheader against the California Angels. The day on which every young Yankee fan, 14 years of age or under, accompanied by an adult, will receive an official Little League bat, and each one has a Yankee player's name on it. So we'll look for you on Bat Day, Sunday, July 19th. It's a doubleheader day against the California Angels.
Danny Cater steps in. Cater with a batting average of .292. Last night went hitless against the Red Sox. Danny set the lead off the top of the second. Boston 1 and the Yankees nothing. Top half of the second inning, and Danny Cater steps in. Sonny Siebert into the windup. Here's the pitch. Cater swings and fouls it out of play behind home plate. Ball coming down on the roof and out of the ballpark. No balls and 1 strike. A single-deck stadium here in Boston, Fenway Park, with some rooftop boxes, but no upper deck as such. And it's a jam-packed capacity house. No balls and 1 strike. Sonny Siebert winds. The pitch to Danny Cater. High, ball 1. 1-1 the count to Cater. 1-1 the count. Siebert into the windup, and the pitch to Cater. Swinging a pop-up down the right field line, going back to Yastrzemski. It's in foul territory. Yeah, still running for it, and he makes the catch. 1 out.
Still in Baltimore, it's turned into a very high-scoring game at the end now of the top half of the 7th inning. It is Baltimore 12 and Washington 8. As Mike Epstein has hit a grand slam homer for Washington, but Baltimore is leading 12-8. Here it's Boston 1, the Yankees nothing. 1 out, and Thurman Munson, the catcher, steps in. Munson batting .255. Sonny Siebert into the windup. The pitch to Thurman, swing and a miss, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Beautiful night for baseball here in Boston. Temperature above the 80-degree mark. About 84 degrees at game time. No balls, 1 strike. Now time is called as Thurman Munson steps out of the batter's box. Third referee on deck for the Yankees. 1-0 Boston in the second. Yankees looking for their first hit off Siebert. Here's the windup, and the pitch is inside. 1-1. Siebert came in that deal which sent Ken Harrelson to Cleveland. What a crazy deal that was. At first, Harrelson didn't want to go. Then when he went, he broke his leg. Here's the windup. Siebert, pitch to Munson. Swing and a bouncer back over his head out towards second. Andrews up with the behind the bag. His throw to first. In time for the out. A fine play by Mike
Andrews. 2 outs. So Munson got back to the dugout, given assist to Stevens. They ruled that the ball hit his glove. And then went out to Mike Andrews. 2 outs, and here's Kurt Blefary. Bleffery's hit it out of the park in each of the last 2 nights. However, in Chicago, the ball was caught by Ken Berry, and he brought it back in. It's a beautiful play. Last night, he hit it well up into the right field seat. Sonny Siebert into the windup. The pitch to Blefary. Slow curve is low for ball 1. Boston leads at 1-0. Yankees have had 1 base runner, and that was a walk by Jerry Kenney with 1 out in the first inning. The windup and the pitch. Fastball low for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Bleffery's batting average, 196. There's 20 RBIs, 2 homers, and 2 doubles. Ron Hansen, the shortstop tonight, is on deck. 2-0 the count. Siebert into the windup. Here it comes, and there it goes, but it's a pop-up. Third base side. George Scott in foul territory. The boomer is under it. Got it, and the sign retired. So for the Yankees in the second, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the second. The Red Sox won. The Yankees, nothing.
Well, a lot of folks look forward to Saturdays because they really go out and have a ball, right? Well, the Yankees invite you to have a real ball on Saturday, the 4th of July at Yankee Stadium because it's going to be ball day. Yes, sir, in addition to the baseball game between the Yankees and the Washington Senators Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, the 4th of July. An official Little League Baseball will be given to every young Yankee fan, 14 and under, accompanied by an adult. Ball day is the 4th of July at Yankee Stadium. So come on out and have yourself a real ball.
Here's George Scott to lead it off at the bottom of the second. Red Sox leading at 1-0. Stan bounced it into the windup. The pitch to Scott, high and outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Scott, a batting average of 253. Big right-handed batter. 1-0 the count. Bounced it into the windup and the pitch. Slow curve, he swings and pops it up foul, maybe out of play. Munson coming back near the screen, and the ball is not caught. He got it off the screen. In his glove, but it hit the screen first.
That was a good call by the plate umpire, Russ Getz, who came back right with the play. There, about half an inch of difference between the out and the ball being out of play. It just did brush the screen and was caught up against the wire by Munson.
So George Scott has a life. Something that a lot of people don't think about, but in a lot of parks, that's a big out. Here's the windup and the pitch. Scott checks the swing and takes low and outside for ball 2. Pitchers try and make Scott go for bad balls. He has the reputation of not being too patient at home plate. And one year when he was in a bad slump, 2 years ago, he was fishing for everything. Here's the pitch, inside 9, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Thompson into the windup. The pitch to Scott, swinging a high drive, and out towards right center field, not deep. Kurt Blefary coming over. The right fielder under it. Waiting. He's got it, and there's 1 out. That ball hit way up in the air, but it didn't have the legs, and there's 1 out. Here's Billy Canigliaro. Billy, the 22-year-old brother of Tony Canigliaro, has a batting average of 254, and right now we pause for station identification.
The Yankees at home and away on WGY Schenectady.
Stan Bonson to Billy Canigliaro. The windup and pitch. Fastball, accidental ground ball out to second. Horace Clark up with it easily. Makes the play to first in time, and there are 2 out. Tried to check a swing, and it turned out to be a ground ball. He hit a fastball, actually, which is the reason the ball bounded so hard out to Horace Clark. There was nothing slow rolling about that one. It was a hard ground ball, but it happened on an accidental swing. 2 outs, and here's Tom Satriano, the catcher. Satriano was also connected somehow with that Siebert and Harrelson and Askew deal, because Askew came to the Red Sox, jumped the club. Here's the pitch. In there for the called strike. And the Red Sox traded him, and they got Satriano from the California Angels. Satriano batting .245. Incidentally, Jumpin' Joe Dugan was at the Bo Sox luncheon today that we had the pleasure of attending. Former New York Yankee great. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a foul ball back over our heads and out of play, and a snowball for 2 strikes. Somebody asked him how he got the nickname of Jumping Joe, and that's it. He jumped the ball club when Johnny Mack out of the Philadelphia Athletics. No balls and 2 strikes. That's some nice things to say about Richie Allen. The pitch, outside for a ball, 1-2. Joe Pepitone and Joe Askey. 1-2 the count. The windup and the pitch. Slow curve and it's outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 1-0 Boston in the second inning. Wind up by Bonson. The pitch. Tachiano, a comeback right to the mound as he bounces it to Bonson. The throw to first in time, and the side's retired. That one came back on one big hop and a nice play by Stan. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left. The end of 2 complete. Boston 1, New York 0.
Game through the first 2 innings here at Fenway Park, and Ron Hansen will be set to lead off the third for the New York Yankees. We're having a little difficulty right now with the Western Union ticker, which brings us the scores of other games, and as soon as we get the problem straightened out, we'll try to keep you up to date inning by inning on the ball game between the Senators and the Orioles. The last score we had on that one was 12-8 Baltimore at the end of 6 innings, right, Bill King? At the end of 6.5 innings now, it's 12-8 Baltimore in a high-scoring affair. That's the first game of a doubleheader.
Right here, it's low scoring after 2, 1-0. Red Sox lead it. Ron Hansen steps in. The windup. Bieber delivers to Hansen. He takes the curve in there for a called strike. Hansen's going to be tough in this ballpark. He's filling in for Gene Michael, who has a minor shoulder injury. Hansen has the ability to hit a home run. He's already hit 1 this year for the Yankees. He hit 21 here for the White Sox. The 0-1 pitch. Outside, it's a ball, 1-1. It looks as if he was going to want to go to right field with that one. They give him all of right field practically. I mean, Tony Canigliano is way over in right center. They're playing for a dead slow hitter. Here's the pitch. Inside for a ball, almost hit him. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hansen has not had that many base hits, but he's had a lot of walks for the Yankees this year. Ron has 3 base hits and 13 bases on ball. The 2-1 pitch. Swing, bounding ball in the hole between third and short. Touches Scully in the hole, has it. The long throw to first. Got him, and there's 1 out. Nice play by Rico. Throws out Ron Hansen at first base. There's 1 out. The Yankees still looking for their first base hit. And it will bring up Stan Bonson. Bonson has had 4 hits and 30 at-bats. A batting average of 133. Boston leads 1-0, top of the third. Sonny Seifert into the windup. The pitch to Bonson. In there for the called strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. This is the second game of a 4-game series between these 2 ball clubs. Tomorrow, a night game, and then Sunday afternoon. The windup and the pitch. Bonson swings and he misses. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. And so far in this ball game, Sonny Seifert has been tough. Done a lot better than the last time he pitched against Stan Bonson. That was back on April the 16th. He went 2 1/3 innings, and the Yankees bombed him. That's 4 runs and 7 hits. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Check swing. No, it's low. 1 ball. Frank, you and I were here that day, and the Yankees got a 4-0 lead off Seibert on 7 hits in 2 1/3 innings. Then the Yankees lost the ball game.
Right. That's a 3 or 4 run lead doesn't always mean a whole lot in this ballpark.
That is for sure. An exciting ballpark. 1-2 the count. The windup and the pitch. Fastball high and outside. It's 2-2. Seibert was looking for the call on both of those last 2 pitches, but he didn't get it, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boston leading 1-0. Top of the third. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Outside, and that wasn't close, and it's 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Boston has a chance to get on base here. Yankees have had one base run, and that was Jerry Kenny, who walked in the first inning. Keep it into the windup. So full count pitch. Swing and a foul ball back to the backstop. He just got a piece of it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 hits in the game. A home run by Andrews and a single by Yastrzemski. We're in the top of the third, and Boston leads 1-0. Yankees will go with Stottlemyre and Peterson, their 2 big guns the next 2 days. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the windup, and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout of the evening for Sonny Siebert. 2 out and back to the top of the order, Horace Clark. Clark popped out to Satriano, the catcher, his first time up. Horace taking a practice swing outside the batter's box. Now he digs into what's set to go. Yankees a game and a half out of first place. Conceivably, if everything went perfectly tonight, they could be tied for the lead. But Baltimore is a doubleheader. Here's the pitch. In there for a called strike to Horace Clark. Took a little bit off his fastball. No balls and 1 strike. Clark has hit 4 home runs this year, and that equals his entire output of last year. Here's the windup and the pitch. Outside for a ball that's 1-1. It's a long poke for a left-handed batter to right field here at Fenway. 380 feet to dead right field and 420 to right center. Here's the windup. And the 1-1 pitch is outside for ball 2 balls and 1 strike. There's one little area right along the right field foul line where you can sneak one in. But it's almost like threading the needle down there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Right down that line is 340 feet. The 2-1 windup and the pitch. Accidental foul ball. 2-2. Yankees batting in the third, trailing 1-0. Yankees on this road trip of 1-5 and lost 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Horace Clark aiming the bat out at Siebert. Siebert now into the windup. Here's the pitch, slow curve, just low for ball 3. So Siebert went 3-2 on Thompson, and he is now 3-2 on Horace Clark. Siebert off the rubber, now he gets back on. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Nobody on, 1-0 Boston. The windup and the pitch. Accidental foul again down the third base line, picked up by George Scott with a backhand stab. Sonny Siebert has only walked 20 men, struck out 53. Pitched in 80 innings, and he's walked 20 men. 3-2 to Horace Clark. Jerry Kenny on deck. Sonny Siebert into the windup. In comes the pitch, a swing and a pop-up foul outside of third. Coming over is George Scott near the dugout. He's under it, and he makes the catch for the out. That ball almost kicked out of George's glove. I believe he got it in the webbing. So the Yankees in the third inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. The end of 2.5, Boston 1, and the Yankees nothing.
Well, this ball game sort of settled down a little bit, but you know, when you play baseball here at Fenway Park, when you play baseball anywhere for that matter, you never know what's going to happen from the time that ball leaves the pitcher's hand until the particular play is over. And that is even so much more true here at Fenway Park. A very unique ballpark with the close wall in left field, but the very high wall. And as Bob Gamere mentioned a moment ago, just if you thread the needle down in the right field corner, it can be a 340-foot home run. But if you don't just hook it around the foul ball, it breaks back to 380. We will be back.
Sonny Siebert, the batter. First pitch of the bottom of the third, in there for the call strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Sonny Siebert with a batting average of .074. The windup and the pitch. In there for call strike 2. You wonder why they call him Sonny. His name is Wilfred. 0-2 the count on Siebert. Boston into the windup. The pitch, looped down the right field line, foul, and back into the seat. Hey, he reached out on that, and he didn't miss by too much of plunking one down that right field line. 0-2 the count. Red Sox lead 1-0 on a leadoff home run by Mike Andrews in the bottom of the first. Andrews on deck. Here's the 0-2 pitch. High and outside, 1-2. Boston kept that one clear of the plate after Steve had almost sneaked a hit on an 0-2 pitch. And that would give the manager a few gray hairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Boston's opposing pitcher. Here it is. Swung on and fouled. Right at home plate, and the count holds. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Red Sox 1, Yankees nothing after the Yankees won last night 3-2. Gentle breeze again, just about like last night, blowing straight out. It's a hitter's night here at Fenway. But so far, only 2 hits and both for the Red Sox. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a foul back to the backstop that holds 1-2. Eddie Pellegrini, former big league ball player, sitting just to our right in the next booth. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Eddie right now is the baseball coach at Boston College. Wind up in the pitch. Swing and a miss, and there goes the bat. Down to third base, and Eddie Popowski picks it up. In the meantime, Siebert is a strikeout victim, the second of the ball game for Stan Bonson. 1 out, and here's Mike Andrews. Right now, it's Andrews 1, the Yankees nothing for the first inning homer. High fly ball that just got over the fence in straightaway center field. Andrews, as we mentioned, a lot of times likes to go for that first pitch. He did not hit the first pitch for the home run. Count was 2-1 when he hit it. Johnson into the windup. Here it comes. In there for the called strike. No balls and 1 strike. Stottlemyre and Peters in the next 2 days for the Yankees. Nagy and Peters for Boston. The 0-1 delivery. Mike Andrews swings, line drive, hit beyond shortstop, and it drops in for a base hit. Roy White picks the ball up, throws on in the second, and Mike Andrews has 2 out of the 3 hits in this ball game. A home run, and now a single. Here's Reggie Smith. Smith popped out to first baseman Danny Cater his first time up. Reggie, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. Batting average is .306. Here's the pitch. High and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Yankee infield in double play depth. Mike Andrews can move. He's on first base. He's not a particular threat to steal with the heart of the batting order coming out. However, he does have 1 stolen base. 1 ball and no strike. Bonson goes to the belt. Kicks and delivers. The pitch swung on and a high pop-up, maybe out of play, over towards third. Munson coming over, Kenny coming over, and they can't get it. 2 rows back. Not an awful lot of foul room here in Fenway Park. And that one just got into the seats. That's twice in this ball game. George Scott hit one earlier that grazed the backstop coming down. At the backstop, we mean the part that stands perpendicular to the ground. And then the screen floats back to the top. Munson might have... Munson's coming over to the Yankee dugout, so he needs something. 1-1 the count. Munson just wants a towel to wipe off his hands. I think the perspiration just falling all over his finger. Unless he cut himself coming over there, I don't know. But now he throws the towel back to the Yankee dugout. 1-0 Boston. Mike Andrews on first, 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Capacity crowd on hand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stan Bonson goes to the belt. Here's the pitch. Slow curve. It's outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Beautiful night for baseball. They've even moved the fans into the dead center field section that is usually preserved for the hitters. 2-1 the count. Bonson curveball hitting the foul outside of third. This may be out of play again. Here comes Kenny to the dugout, steps, and the ball back over the dugout. 2-2. Well, they've been popping up Bonson, but been getting them out of play. A couple of them stayed in the field. The one by Reggie Smith was last time up. 2-2 the count to Smith. Mike Andrews with the lead off first. 1 out. Bonson goes to the belt. Here's the pitch. Fastball bounce foul outside of first over towards the Red Sox dugout. It takes a big bounce right over the roof. That was a nice one for the fans in the first row. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. I believe a lady got that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 1-0 Boston in the third. They have Mike Andrews on first and 1 out. The stretch. The 2-2 pitch to Smith. Check swing, ball 3. And Bonson is furious. He claims it was right over the plate. Smith checked his swing. I'm sure Bonson was yelling that it was over anyhow. However, it's no dice. The count holds 3-2. Bonson came halfway into home plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Andrews may be going. There's the stretch. There he goes. 2 strikes and 1 out. I believe a lady got that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 1-0 Boston in the third. They have Mike Andrews on first and 1 out. The stretch. The 2-2 pitch to Smith. Check swing, ball 3. And Bonson is furious. He claims it was right over the plate. Smith checked his swing. I'm sure Bonson is yelling that it was over anyhow. However, it's no dice, and the count holds 3-2. Bonson came halfway into home plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Andrews may be going. There's the stretch. There he goes. The pitch. Swinging a bounding ball over Tater's head into right field at the base hit. Andrews will get to third at least. He may try and score. Here he comes around third. Lefty up with the ball. Makes the throw to the plate. It won't be close. Going down the third is Reggie Smith on a Baltimore shot. That's scored a double. And look at Bonson go with Russ Getz, the home plate umpire, as he walks back to the mound. He thought he had Smith struck out. Gets the ball back and slams it into his glove. It's a 2-base hit. Tater was holding the bag on Andrews, and Smith just bounced it right over his head. And the Red Sox lead it 2-0. That's an RBI for Reggie Smith. The 2-base hit. The Yankee infield now will play in. Now, time is called. Jerry Kenny's coming over to talk to Stan Bonson. Bonson is steaming. He just frying an egg on his neck right now. Yastrzemski the batter. There's a throw to second base. They're claiming that somebody missed second, but no dice. Could have been either runner that they were making the claim on. Now Bonson exchanging signals with Jerry Kenny, the third baseman. Here's the stretch. Now he steps over. He's going to throw to third, and they step on the bag. Safe over there. Well, Jerry Kenny's idea. He was watching the base runners. Horace Clark was chasing the ball out into right field. Got to it just about the same time Bleppery did, but Bleppery made the throw back. So Kenny felt that one or the other of them missed the bag. The pitch to Yaz in there for the called strike with the slow curveball. 0-1. So Bonson has been the victim of some ill fortune in this inning. 0-1 the count. The windup and the pitch. Swing and a line drive with 1 hop. What a play by Hanson. He's got to throw to first in time, and Reggie Smith holds. What a play by Ron Hanson at shortstop. Picking right up where Gene Michael left off last night. The infield was in, and that was a line drive. He got it on 1 hop, and it was one of those short hops and going to his left. Nice play by Hanson.
It was a beautiful play. Hanson came up with that ball and still had presence of mind to check Smith back into third base. Plenty of time to throw to first to get Yastrzemski. Just a fine play all the way around. The Yankees have come up with some fine play at shortstop.
Here's Tony Canigliaro. Tony C struck out swing his first time up. Bonson's pitch, swing and a drive, hit out towards right center field. Mertz has a long run. Here he comes, running. He's got it. Sides retired. Well, the Red Sox get a run on 2 hits, and Bunsen stayed with it and left that man on third. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the 4th inning. The Red Sox 2, and the Yankees nothing. And now with the scoreboard to carry you through the middle 3, Frank Messer.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much. And that Washington-Baltimore first game shows Baltimore leading 12-8. And now, wait a minute. Yeah, 12-8, that's right. Despite 2 home runs by Mike Epstein. That's at the end of 8 innings. Gifford is homered for Baltimore. Brizenda is now pitching for Washington, and Lopez for the Baltimore Orioles. Detroit won, Cleveland won at the end of 2. Mickey Stanley is homered for Detroit. Lolich against McDowell, a battle of left-handers. It is Houston 6 and Atlanta 6 at the end of 6. Now Ray against Reed, and Rico Cardi has hit home run number 16 for the Braves. In 16 innings this afternoon, St. Louis defeated Chicago 5-2 at Wrigley Field. And here's a little information for you from the Yankee front office. The Yankees this evening signed their number 2 selection in the recent regular phase of the free agent draft. He is right-hand pitcher Richard A. Earl, 18-year-old from Highland Park, New Jersey. He was signed by scout Frank O'Rourke this evening to a substantial bonus contract. The Yankees' number 1 selection, lefty Dave Cheadle of Asheville, North Carolina, was signed to a bonus contract Wednesday and has already reported for training to the Yankees' Johnson City Club of the Appalachian Rookie League. Earl also is signed with Johnson City and will report in time for the season opener on Tuesday. He was scouted by Frank O'Rourke, Hector Lopez, George Case, and others. We go now to the top half of the 4th inning. Jerry Kenney will lead off for the Yankees. Kenney walked his first time up. He's been the Yankees' only base runner so far against Sonny Siebert. The pitch to it is low and outside, ball 1. Pitch will be coming. Here it is. It's outside. Ball 2. 2-0 to Jerry Kenney. Nobody on, nobody out. Boston leading 2-0 here in the top half of the 4th inning. Kenney, Mercer, and White. The windup by Siebert. The pitch to Kenney. He takes, and a strike 1 is called by the plate umpire, Russ Getz. 2-1. There's a drive out to our deep center field. Back goes Smith. Back on the warning track to the wall. He's got it. What a catch! Gloriousky. It was an almost impossible catch by Reggie Smith, who went all the way to the wall. He must have jumped 4 or 5 feet off the ground and looked from here. Tremendous spring in those legs. Went up and made the catch to rob Kenney of at least a triple. One away, and that is the fielding play of the ball game. I didn't think he had a chance to get it. I could see that ball off the wall. Here's Mercer, takes high, ball 1. Mercer popped up to the shortstop, Petroselli, his first time up. Just a great catch by Reggie Smith, right out there at the wall in straightaway center field. Siebert looks down at Satriano, has the sign. The windup, the right-hander turns it loose, and Mercer takes high and tight, ball 2. Near capacity crowd, in fact, some standees here at Fenway Park tonight. Center field bleachers are full. Crowd may go over 30. Here's the pitch to Mercer now. He takes low this time, and it's ball 3. 3-0. Leading 2-0. Sonny Siebert cranks up, kicks and deals. Fastball is low, ball 4, and Mercer is on. A walk to Mercer, and Roy White will be the batter. White fouled out to George Scott at third base, his first time up. Even though Roy went hitless last night, he still remains the second highest hitter in the American League, batting .354. Yastrzemski holding on Mercer, and White slaps one foul off the first baseline. Strike one. Rod Carew of Minnesota leads the league with a .364 average. Roy White, after fouling out his first time up, lost 2 points. So now, to be completely technical and accurate, he is hitting .352. Siebert bends for the sign, works off the stretch. And the 0-1 pitch to White. Inside with a fastball, 1-1. Mercer takes a good lead at first base. The Yankees are taking a much bigger lead off first here in this series than we've seen them do before. The pitch to White. He bounces one to first. Flag down by Yes. Steps on the bag, throws to second safe. Mercer had to be tagged. And he beat the throw into second base as Petroselli took the throw. Once Yastrzemski stepped on first, White was out. Mercer was no longer involved in a force. They had to tag him out. 2 down, and the batter will be Danny Cater. Cater is 0 for 1, fouled out to the first baseman Yastrzemski, who made a fine play on it in the second inning. This series has been replete with fine fielding plays. Set by Siebert, the pitch coming. Strike over the outside corner to Cater. Top half of the fourth, 2-0, Boston leading. No balls and a strike to Danny Cater. Mercer at second. Siebert studying very intently for the sign. Sets just above the belt. Kicks and deals. High and tight. 1-1. A strike to Cater. They play him to pull, although Cater is very adept at going to right field. Siebert ready to work again. And the 1-1 pitch. Cater fouls it back, and right now on New York Yankee baseball, we pause for station identification. The Yankees at home and away on WGY, Schenectady. Eddie Watt has come on to pitch for Baltimore in the 9th inning. The last report, Baltimore was leading 12-8. Washington batting in the top of the 9th. Right here, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Cater. Siebert working very deliberately to Danny. Now Cater steps away. Pete Rickard has also come on to pitch for Baltimore. Which one was first, Rickard or Watt? Watt, and now Rickard has relieved Watt. Thank you. 1-2 pitch will be coming. Mercer at second. The set by Siebert. Here's the pitch. Cater takes it high. 2-2. Phil Rizzuto just comes in with one of the biggest sandwiches I have seen on the entire road trip. A quadruple sandwich.
They're ham and cheese.
Lift it up. I don't want to touch it. Lift it up. Let me see it. It's not alive, is it? 2-2 pitch. Cater drills it out into left field, but Billy Canigliaro is there and makes the catch. A line drive that hung up and was hit right at Billy Canigliaro, so the side is retired. No runs, no hits. There were no errors. 1 walk and 1 man left on base. And at the end of the top half of the fourth, the score is Boston 2 and New York 0. I'll tell you that Earl Weaver's had to go to his bullpen very, very often, Phil, and that sometimes can not be too good over the stretch of the season.
Absolutely.
Right now, we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Zico Petroselli up there. Bonson's first pitch to him. Hit on the ground sharply to Hansen. He's got it. To throw to first base in time, and that's all for Petroselli. 1 pitch and 1 away. It will bring up George Scott, who flied out to Bluffrey and right his first time up. This ball game, sort of the similar pattern of Bonson's last start in Kansas City when he had a shaky early going, got behind, then settled down in that ball game and retired the last 14 men in a row. The windup of the pitch to Scott. Here it is. Low and inside, ball 1. However, that 14 in a row quickly stopped as the first man up in this game, Mike Andrews, homered on top of the center field wall. 1-0 pitch from Bonson to Scott. Low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Billy Canigliaro is on deck. Boston leading 2-0. Scott looks at another one. This time it's outside, and the count goes to 3-0. Scott, strong right-hand hitter. And the 3-0 pitch. He takes it low, ball 4. Well, there's one thing about George Scott. Especially tonight, he has been taking pitches for balls that he usually will swing at. So the book on him may have to be revised just a little bit. He has always been a notorious bad ball hitter. But tonight he has been taking pitches that normally he would cut at. So Scott is on, and here is Billy Canigliaro. Billy is the younger of the two Canigliaro brothers. Came into this game batting .254, right-hand hitter, takes low, ball 1. So Bonson has just missed with his last 5 pitches. On deck, Tom Satriano, the catcher. Hader holding on Scott with 1 away. Infield tightens up in double play depth. The set by Bonson. And the pitch coming. It is low and outside, ball 2. And now Thurman Munson requests time and goes out to the mound to try to settle Bonson down a little bit. He has not been that wild. Bonson has just been missing barely on the 4 pitches to Scott, and now the first 2 to Billy Canigliaro. Bonson's very lovely brunette wife, Connie, in the stands watching the ball game tonight. Several of the Yankee wives are here. Gary Wozlewski's wife and young son watched him win last night's game. 2-0 pitch, low and inside with a fastball, ball 3. Also, Lindy McDaniel's wife and 2 of his 3 children, his daughter and the youngest son, were here last night. The oldest son, I understand, is still playing Little League ball down in their Texas home and won't join him until that season is over. Ball 4 comes in high. Billy Canigliaro walks. So Bonson, who did not walk a man through the first 3 and a third innings, has issued back-to-back walks on 8 pitches to Scott and Billy Canigliaro. And now Tom Satriano. Satriano is a left-hand hitter. And there will be some activity now in the Yankee bullpen. Ron Klimkowski will start loosening up. And he comes off the bench throwing pretty hard. Maybe one of those nights when all of a sudden it's gone, we don't know. But Bonson has snapped back from adversity before. We'll see. The pitch to Satriano. He takes, and it's ball 1. Evidently a bit low. Bonson and Munson, I think, thought they deserved a better call on it.
Quite a few that they thought they deserved a better call. One big one of Reggie Smith.
1-0 pitch now. Strike is called. That's certainly true. Bonson thought he had Smith struck out in the 3rd inning as he and Munson argued on the call, and then Smith bounced the double down the right field line to drive in run number 2. Boston leading 2-0. Runners edge off at first and second, 1 out the pitch. It is low, ball 3. Let's check that. Make it ball 2. Right now is having enough trouble without any help from me, I guess. Let's keep the count right. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sometimes that plate has the tendency to jump around a little bit. The pitcher, Sonny Siebert, is out on deck. 1 away. Scott at second. Billy Canigliaro at first. The pitch. Satriano takes the strike. And now it's Satriano who doesn't believe it. The count is even at 2-2. Bonson looks back to Ron Hansen, the shortstop. Up the middle, you got Munson, Bonson, and Hansen. The stretch by Bonson. The set. The 2-2 pitch to Satriano. Fouled it back on a check swing.
Washington gave Baltimore a battle. They came up with 2 1/9, but fell too short, and Baltimore wins it 12-10. But as you said, they used a lot of pitches. 2, 4, 6 pitches Baltimore used in that game.
6. I thought I had 7 a moment ago. All right. There's a bouncing ball to Clark. Let's see if they can get 2. Throw to second. Out there. Back to first. Out there. Double play. It's a double play. Had it not been, George Scott would have scored from second base. He didn't even slow down at third. He was coming all the way, and if they had not made the double play, Scott would have scored on some good base running on his part. But the Yankees turn over 2. Clark to Hansen to Cater. For Boston, no runs, no hits. There were no Yankee errors. 1 man is left. And now at the end of 4, the score is Boston 2 and the Yankees nothing.
Well, the first game that the Yankees play when they return home from this road trip will be Wednesday against the Cleveland Indians. It's a big doubleheader. That's July 24th. First game will start at 1 p.m., but it will also be the second picture postcard day at Yankee Stadium. Remember the first one, Bobby Mercer's picture was given out. This time, it will be Roy White. So come in, see the doubleheader, and get a good picture postcard of Roy White. Frank?
Those are very, very fine pictures of the Yankee players. Yankee photographer Mike Grossbach took them, and he just did an excellent job. I've seen the Mercer card, and I've also seen the Roy White card, and just very fine work. Here's Thurman Munson, right-hand hitter. Takes low ball 1 from Sonny Siebert. Munson grounded out to the second baseman Andrews his first time up. Actually, the ball was hit back off the fingertips of the pitcher Sonny Siebert, who slowed it down enough to be credited with an assist. One of those strange scoring rulings I've never understood, Phil. Next pitch. It is bounced foul off the third baseline. I can see it when the pitcher actually throws the ball down enough to make the play possible. But when that ball just barely flicks a fingertip, it can foul up the play more than it can help it.
Right. Or if it deflects, if it's going through the middle and it kicks off his knee or his glove to the second or shortstop, then I can see it.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Thurman Munson. Sonny Siebert now takes too much time. Munson steps up. Robin Roberts years ago, Phil, pitching with Baltimore, said when the ball is hit back toward the pitcher's mound, he wants to get out of the way of it. He said, with Louis Aparicio and Brooks Robinson behind him, why should I foul it up?
True.
1-1 pitch now. Munson lines it out into right field. They go on for the base hit. No! Canigliano's got it. That ball just stayed up there in the air, and Canigliano, coming in towards second base, was able to get to it and put it away. The ball was well hit. It had to be well hit for him to get to it. So there's 1 down, and now Kurt Leffery, who fouled out to third his first time up. Drag 1 is called at Leffery as Siebert got the first pitch over at the knees. Now Leffery having a little discussion with plate umpire Russ Getz. Up in the 1-strike pitch. He changes up and misses outside and high. 1-1. Boston leading 2-0. We're in the top half of the 5th inning. Ron Hansen is on deck. Siebert deals. Fastball inside, almost hits Leffery on the leg. 2 balls and 1 strike. Plays deep on Leffery with the exception of Scott at third. The wind-up the pitch. He pops it up on the first base side. Yastrzemski started back now coming in, but the pitcher is there. Siebert makes the catch. Sonny Siebert broke over off the mound almost to first base to make the catch on that one. As Yastrzemski was fooled by the ball off the bat, he started breaking down the first base line toward right field. Quickly stopped and came back. I think Yastrzemski could have made the play, but by then Siebert was calling for it himself. 2 outs. Here's Ron Hansen, grounded out to short his first time up. Hansen chokes up about an inch on the bat handle. Steps into one and lets it go outside. Ball one. Took a big stride, but no swing. Boston out in front, 2-0. 2 outs and nobody on here in the top half of the 5th inning. So far, the Yankees have not had a base hit off Sonny Siebert. He has walked 2, and that's it. He kicks and deals, and Hansen takes low. 2 balls and no strikes. Siebert's next pitch, Hansen takes it low and outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Sonny Siebert in his career has pitched 1 no-hitter. That was against the Washington Senators in 1966. 3-0 to Hansen, right down the middle. Strike call, 3-1. I think everybody starts thinking about a no-hitter, Phil, after the 5th inning. You don't think about it too much before then. 3-1 delivery to Hansen. He hits it on the ground to third. It's going to be a foul ball. Dick Hauser grabs it. And Hauser now wants the plate umpire to take a look at it. Tosses it in to Satriano. Satriano gives it to Getz, and Getz is going to give it to the dugout. Full count, 3-2. Siebert rocks back on the left foot. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Hansen fans, that is the second strikeout for Siebert in the ball game. And he gets the side in order. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. At the end of 4 1/2, the score is Boston 2 and New York nothing. Well, Phil, we understand that the Yankees have picked up a little strength as far as the team is concerned, as Big John Ellis has arrived and is in uniform now. John is doing his 2 weeks Army Reserve duty, but he has the weekend off. So he is here and will be here for tomorrow night's game and Sunday afternoon's game.
Well, I'm sure Ralph House is very happy with a short left field wall and a big, strong young man like Johnny Ellis around in case he needs him.
Sonny Siebert's getting a nice round of applause as he comes up as the leadoff hitter in the bottom half of the 5th inning. He has not allowed the Yankees a base hit through 5 innings. He has walked 2 and struck out 2. Siebert bats as he throws right-handed. He himself struck out, leading off the 3rd. Bonson winds, kicks and deals. Siebert hits it on the ground to short. Hansen to his right has it. The throw to first base. He's out. Throw 1 pitch, 1 away. Imagine Siebert, Phil, at this stage of the ball game was told by Eddie Casco to go up there if the first pitch is anywhere near there, swing at it, and just as soon you made out, get back on the bench and rest.
Either hit one up on the screen or make out. That's exactly right.
2-0, Boston leading. Here is Mike Andrews. He has homered and singled, 2 for 2. He scored both runs. Homered leading off the 1st. Singled and scored in the 3rd. Right-hand batter. Way up close to the plate and the left foot way up in front of the plate. And the pitch to him. He steps back from a fastball inside at the knees. Ball 1. Usually a 2-run lead doesn't mean too much in this ballpark until the last out of the game. But the way Siebert has been pitching, it could be one of those nights. The pitch. Strike called. And now it's Mike Andrews who disagrees with Russ Getz. A ball and a strike. 1 out and nobody on. Boston leading 2-0. Bonson to the windup. Right-hander deals. He is low this time. 2 balls and a strike to Andrews. I always felt, Phil, with this Boston club, if you could keep Andrews off base, you could do a pretty good job with him.
That's true, because those men in back of him are really dangerous.
The 2-1 pitch is low for ball 3. Between them last night, Wozlowski and McDaniel kept him off base, and the Yankees won a close ball game 3-2. Tonight he has been on twice and scored twice. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball foul past third base coach Eddie Popowski. was Andrews homered in the first inning. But then in the third, he got the base hit and scored on Reggie Smith's double that bounced over Cater's head down the right field line. Full count now, 3-2. Monson winds, kicks and deals. Inside with a fastball. Andrews goes down and now gets up and heads down to first base. That fastball was moving in on him, came right in under his chin. That is the third walk allowed by Bonson, and it brings up Reggie Smith, who fouled out to Cater his first time up and then doubled as he bounced one over Cater's head. Bonson works off the stretch and deals. Smith swings and misses. A breaking pitch, strike one. No balls and a strike. Reggie Smith is a good outfielder, has a strong arm. Plus the fact he's a switch hitter. Changeup is way up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Smith as a left-hand batter is hitting .270. As a right-hand batter, .385. He's after this one and misses a fastball, strike 2. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Boston leading 2-0. With 1 out, Andrews is at first base. Cater holding the inside corner on him. Hanson and Clark at double play depth. The pitch coming to Smith. There's a drive up to deep right field. Way back, way back. It is going. It's gone. A home run. It's 4-0, and that is his 6th home run of the year. The ball went into the Yankee bullpen, where Ron Gronkowski is warming up again. 4-0 ball game, and Carl Yastrzemski, the batter, 1 for 2. Breaking pitch in, strike 1 called Diaz. So again, Andrews is on base and scores. Coming in this time on Smith homer. The pitch. High to Yastrzemski, a ball and a strike. One out, nobody out. 4-0 Boston. And the 1-1 pitch. He hits it out in the deep center field. This one is way back. Mercer is back. He's going to watch it. It is gone. Into the center field bleachers. A home run for Yastrzemski. It is now a 5-0 ball game, and that is Yastrzemski's 15th home run of the year. That of the 3 hit tonight is the longest, as it went well back into the straightaway center field bleachers. So it's long ball night for the Bo Sox. And now Tony Canigliaro comes up. He has struck out and flied to center. Game, Bonson has given up 7 home runs. He has been tagged for 3 tonight by Andrews, Smith, and Yastrzemski. Time is called as evidently something had been thrown out of the field out in center field. Whatever it was, Bobby Mercer went over, picked up a paper cup, picked it up in the cup and tossed it out of the playing field. I have no idea what it was. Now the pitch to Canigliaro. It is inside, a fastball about shoulder high, ball one. Caniglio crowds the plate quite a bit. Bonson's next pitch. Fouled off his foot. A ball and a strike. One out, nobody on. Ball and a strike to Tony Caniglio. Bonson deals. He fouls this one back up the screen. Count is a ball and 2 strikes. Jam-packed crowd here in Fenway seeing the Boston bats explode. 1-2 to Tony C. Line drive into the Yankee dugout, foul, and that scattered Yankee players. Well, that ball was hit in there wickedly. Now it's tossed back out. The on-deck hitter is Rico Petrocelli. Bonson looks to Munson for the sign. Arms high, 1-2 pitch. Just a bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Red Sox with 3 runs here in the 5th. The pitch. There's a drive out to deep center field, but Mercer is there for this one and makes the catch. Tony Caniglio is retired, 2 down, and the batter will be Rico Petrocelli. Petrocelli tonight has not had a ball out of the infield. Last night he had 2 out of the ballpark. A home run to center and a home run to left to account for the 2 Boston runs in the Yankees' 3-2 victory. Foul ball off the bat handle as he tried to lean back from an inside pitch. And that one got Munson on the hand, I believe. Bonson comes down to check with him. Munson looking at his right hand and now grabs the baseball to see if he can grip it. Now Ralph Houck and trainer Joe Soares come out. And Soares will take a look at Munson's right hand. It looks like they're looking at his index finger, Phil. I can just barely see between the shoulders of the plate umpire Getz and Munson.
If Munson's got anything to say, he'll hang in there whether the finger's broken or not. But of course, it's not a good idea to stay in if his injury's that serious.
As they look at his hand, Soares now feeling it, feeling the finger. Munson is not broken because Munson can flex his hand. So now he seems to be okay. Right now on New York Yankee baseball, let's pause for station identification. The Yankees at home and away on WGY, Schenectady. First pitch to Petrocelli. He swings and bounces a foul over into the Yankee dugout. No balls and 2 strikes to Rico. Munson didn't even ask for a practice throw or 2, said the hand was all right. So it's 0-2 now to Rico Petrocelli. 2 outs, the bases are empty. Bonson to the windup and the pitch. Swing, and it is fouled back off the plate umpire, Russ Getz. And that one, it is chest protector, I believe, went down inside it, didn't it, Phil?
It certainly did, and I think I'd heard a little bit. He was rocked back about 4 steps and came up to reach in and grab that ball.
Pitch to Petrocelli. He lines it into left field, base hit. Well, Petrocelli is on with the 3rd hit of the inning for Boston. That is the Red Sox 7th hit in the ball game, and it brings up George Scott. Scott flied to right in the 2nd, drew a walk in the 4th. Peter will hold the inside corner at first. Kenny protects the line deep at third base. Hansen and Clark sort of squeeze up the middle on George Scott. The pitch to him. He takes a strike. 0-1. Boston leading 5-0 here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. With Petroselli at first. 2 out. Boston off the stretch. Kicks and deals. Scott sends a fly ball out of deep center field. Way back. Mercer is after it. Mercer makes the catch on the run. A good 400 feet out there in straightaway center field. So the side is retired. But the Red Sox came up with a long ball for 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors and a man left. And at the end of 5, the score is Boston 5 and New York 0. Cepedino has come out to pinch hit for Stan Bronson to lead off the 6th inning. Cepedino doesn't get too many chances to swing that bat, but he's going to be up here right now. And let's see, Cepedino is hitting .286. As a pinch hitter, Cepedino is 3 for 9, a .333 average as a pinch hitter. He's a left-hand batter. Pitch to Cepedino, swung on and missed strike 1. Bill, I believe this is the first time Cepedino has been up since that Sunday doubleheader in Cleveland when we had such a wild afternoon.
Long time in between for Frank, and that's why he was up there cutting his slash on the first pitch.
1 strike pitch to him. He takes a breaking pitch for a ball, 1-1. Cepedino has started just 1 game in the outfield for the Yankees. That was here in Boston when Roy White had military early in the season. Since then, he has been up only as a pinch hitter. 1-1 delivery. He bounces a slow one towards third. Scotty has it. To throw to first base. He is out. So Cepedino bounces out third to first. 1 away, and Horace Clark will come on. Clark is fouled out to the catcher and fouled out to Scott at third. Jerry Kenny is on deck. Boston leading 5-0 as Seibert has not allowed the Yankees a base hit. 1 away in the 6th inning. The right-hander into the windup in the pitch. Popped up on the left side of the infield. Scott calling for it near third. And Scott has it. He had to move around a lot after setting up under it. This is the first time this year Scott has played third base, and of course you got a completely different angle on the ball there than you do playing first base. He's been a little bit uncertain, but he has made the plays. Let's see, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 pop-ups he's had. The other 3 were in foul territory, this one in fair ground. 2 down. Jerry Kenny, the batter, he has walked and was robbed of at least a triple on a great catch by Reggie Smith out in center field. Seibert pitched to him. He takes a strike on a fastball, 0-1. The only Yankee base runners have been Jerry Kenny, who walked in the first, and Bobby Mercer, who walked in the fourth. Seibert being very deliberate about every pitch now. Winds, kicks, and fires. In the dirt, dug up by Satriano. 1 ball and 1 strike. One pitch. Low, ball 2. 2-1. Base is empty, 2 away. Seibert ready to work again to Kenny. 2-1 pitch to Jerry. High, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. offering with 2 outs. Bases empty. Kenny fouls it back. It'll be just overhead. Count is full, 3-2. Farthest the Yankees have gone in a ball game this year without getting a base hit was 8 innings. Jim Rooker of Kansas City had a no-hitter for 8 innings against the Yankees in New York, and Horace Clark spoiled it, and the Yankees went on to win the ball game in 12 frames. 3-2 pitch to Kenny. Here it comes. Jerry pops it up in foul ground. Down comes Scott from third. Satriano is after it, and the catcher makes the catch in foul territory to retire the side. Kenny fouls out to Satriano, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Sonny Siebert, who has now retired the last 8. At the end of the top of the 6th, the score is Boston 5 and New York nothing. Ron Klimkowski comes on now to pitch for the Yankees. Stan Bonson went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, walked 3, struck out 2. Klimkowski has been used primarily as a long relief man and spot starter this year. He has a record of no wins and 2 losses. His only decisions came to Washington and also to the California Angels. Last time out, Klimkowski pitched 1 2/3 innings against the White Sox in Chicago in the ball game that was lost by Fritz Peterson. He has also pitched another 1/3 of an inning on the road trip out in Kansas City in the 12-inning ball game that Lindy McDaniel and the Yankees won 9-4. Well, we have a moment here. Saw an old buddy of ours before the game tonight, former American League umpire Bill Kinnaman.
Oh, how's William doing?
He's doing very well. He's had a couple of operations on his hip, but he's able to get around all right, and he is working in the umpire training program under the minor league office of Phil Patron out in Columbus.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful news.
He is one of the supervisors. We'll tell you more about that story if we have a chance. Right now, Billy Canigliaro steps in against Klimkowski, and the first pitch, he swings and misses strike 1. Billy Canig is grounded out to second and walked. No balls and 1 strike. The wind-up in the pitch. Slow curve is down low, 1-1. There is quite a training program for minor league umpires underway now. Bill Kinnaman.
Oh, how's William doing?
He's doing very well. He's had a couple of operations on his hip, but he's able to get around all right, and he is working in the umpire training program under the minor league office of Phil Patron out in Columbus.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful news.
He is one of the supervisors. We'll tell you more about that story if we have a chance. Right now, Billy Canigliaro steps in against Klimkowski, and the first pitch, he swings and misses strike 1. Billy Canig is grounded out to second and walked. No balls and 1 strike. The wind-up in the pitch. Slow curve is down low, 1-1. There is quite a training program for minor league umpires underway now. 1-1 pitch. Fastball inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. With that, I think, Phil, if they had to do something, because eventually they could have run out of competent umpires on the major league level.
They very well could, especially they have to retire at a fairly early age right now.
55, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
With a couple of exceptions. 2-1 pitch. Bouncer foul off the plate. Count is 2-2. Bill said the program has been very successful so far. Last year, 28 out of 29 umpires finished the season. New people that were subsidized under this program. And so far this year, they have introduced 16, and they have all continued so far this season. Great. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Canigliaro strikes out. So Klimkowski comes out of the bullpen to strike out the first man he faces, Billy Canigliaro. He'll now pitch to the left-hand hitter, Tom Satriano. Satriano bounced back to Bonson in the second, grounded into a double play started by Horace Clark in the fourth. First pitch, outside and high, ball one. Incidentally, Bill said that he would like me to invite anybody who was interested in becoming an umpire to contact the National Association of Professional Baseball Clubs in Columbus, Ohio. Strike called over the outside corner. It's 1-1. The requirements age-wise are that you be at least 19 and not over 33. They'd be happy to hear from anyone who wished to take up umpiring. A ball outside, 2-1. That address again is just address National Association of Professional Baseball, Columbus, Ohio. Told Bill he might get a lot of applications through that. He said, that's fine, the more the better. There's a bouncing ball right back to Klimkowski. He's got it on one hop, lobs it over to Cater, and there are two down. The hand is for Sonny Siebert. Crowd here, Phil, I'm going to estimate somewhere around 30,000 in round figures. And just about everyone, even the Yankee fans here, have to applaud Siebert as he comes up. He has pitched an excellent ball game through six. The pitch to him. He takes a strike over the inside corner. Siebert has not allowed a base hit to the Yankees. He has walked two and working on a 5-0 shutout. Klimkowski deals. It's a fastball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Base is empty, 2 away. And the 1-1 pitch. He bounces it off the plate. It's over the mound. Klimkowski knocks it down, picks it up, throws to first. He's got him. Siebert could have run that one out and beaten it out, but there again, I'm sure at this stage of the ball game, under orders not to get on base. He just sort of walked down to first base. Had he elected to run it out, he, I'm sure, could have made it. But right now, they're more interested in him continuing this excellent job on the mound than they are in him getting on base and tiring himself out. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. And at the end of 6, the score is Boston 5 and the Yankees nothing. And now with scores of other games and to carry you through the final 3 innings of this one, ladies and gentlemen, we turn it over to the scooter, Phil Rizzuto.
All right, Frank, in that first game of the Twin Bill, Baltimore defeated Washington 12-10, a slugfest. 18 hits for Baltimore, 13 for Washington. The winner, Palmer, who started, he's 10-3 now, and Bosman, the loser, is 6-6. Mike Epstein had 2 homers, 1 with a man on and 1 with the bases loaded. 6 RBIs for Mike, a big night. John Buford had his 7th of the year. The second game is Cox against Harden, no score as yet. Detroit at Cleveland, the Indians are leading 3-2 at the end of 5. Lolich against McDowell. Mickey Stanley got his 2nd homer of the year, and Jim Northrup his 11th. But McDowell out in front 3-2. Minnesota nothing, Kansas City nothing, end of 2. Blyleven against Drago. Milwaukee at California, Chicago at Oakland latest starts. In the National League, the Mets scored 7 runs in the bottom of the first and are leading the Phillies 7-0. Bunning started Palmer in the first. Seaver going for the Mets. Boswell got his 4th of the year in the second with 1 on, but that game is now being held up because of rain. Pittsburgh 4, Montreal nothing, into 3. McGinn against Moose. Dodgers 1, Cincinnati nothing, into 3.5. Singer against Nolan. Atlanta beat Houston 7-6. Reed the winner, and Ray the loser. Rico Cotti got his 16th of the year, and they're in the 16th inning now. The Cardinals. Wait a minute. The Cardinals defeated the Cubs 5-2. Got to check that score. Right now, Bobby Mercer, who has popped to short and walked, takes a pitch inside. Seaver into the windup. His pitch fouled back and out of play. 1-1. An afternoon game. The Cardinals beat the Cubs 5-3 in 16 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mercer. The Yankees trail 5-0. Siebert's pitch up the middle, and oh, what a Play by Petrocelli. Holy cow, Rico Petrocelli diving through the air. Caught the ball, turned completely over as half the infield on his uniform and saves the no-hitter for Sonny Siebert. That ball looked like it was going right out to center field, but Rico Petrocelli came from nowhere. Diving through the air, caught the ball before it hit the ground, turned completely over, and it's one out. Here's Roy White. Takes the strike. What a play by Petrocelli. Reggie Smith saved the no-hitter in the fourth inning of Jerry Kenny deep against the center field fence. As one popped up and out of play. Strike two, 0-2. Didn't think Rico had a chance on that one at all. So it's one out. Nobody on, and the Yankees trailing 5-0. The windup, the pitch, foul, back in the crowd and out of play. Still 0-2. All the crowd, everybody knows that Siebert going for a no-hitter right now. He's gone 6 in the third innings, allowed just 2 runners on, those base on balls. The 2-strike pitch almost hit Roy White. Just did get out of the way. A ball and 2 strikes. On deck, Danny Cater. All right, Siebert ready. His curve bounced to first base. Yastrzemski has it. Flips to Siebert, covering in time, and Roy White is out of there. So it's 2 out. And the batter, Danny Cater, popped to first and lined to left field. Well, our rookie announcer, Bob Gamere, almost saw a no-hitter at Yankee Stadium.
I'll tell you one thing. This will be the craziest no-hitter since Bobo Holloman. The way the Yankees have been hitting the ball. They've been hitting it right at people all night.
Do you remember Bobo Holloman?
Oh, you bet I do. It's the only game he ever won in the big leagues. I didn't see the game, but I read Silvek's book.
Uh-huh. All right, here's Danny Cater. 2 out, nobody on. The pitch is over the outside corner, strike call. And this crowd is roaring with every pitch. And I tell you, the next 7 batters, including Cater, it will be excitement. The pitch, swing and a miss. Well, he just did foul tip it, held by Sastriano. Strike 2. 5-0, the Red Sox lead, top of the 7th. And it's not the score now. It's hitter by hitter for Sonny Siebert. He's ahead of Cater now, 0-2. He winds. The pitch, ground ball is short. Petrocelli has it. Fires to first in time. And listen to the hand now for Siebert and Rico Petrocelli as he comes in. 3 up, 3 down. And at the end of 6.5 innings, it's the Red Sox 5 and the Yankees nothing.
The Yankees haven't been using the bats too well so far in this ball game without a base hit. The Red Sox have. But they're nice. 5 runs and 7 hits, and 3 of the hits have been home runs. So the fans taking their 7th inning stretch. And as we've been mentioning, Siebert has already pitched 1 no-hitter. Not this year, but he pitched it when he was with Cleveland back in '66. Pitched the zeros against the Washington Senators. And to give the Red Sox quite a boost, I'll tell you, if he can do it tonight. But it's not over yet. Bottom of the 7th inning. And here's been the thorn on the Yankee side. He scored 3 runs. He's been up 3 times. Mike Andrews.
Yes, he's homered, singled, and walked. Drove himself in the first inning. Reggie Smith drove him in the 3rd and 5th innings. The Red Sox have been playing long ball tonight, and the first pitch is low ball 1. Home runs by Andrews, Reggie Smith, and Yastrzemski. The Red Sox have 7 hits. The top 3 men in the order have 6 of those 7 hits. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Mike Andrews. Reggie Smith, who is on deck, has driven in 3 runs in this ball game. A 1-1 pitch, line drive, but Clark is there this time, and they finally get Andrews out. 1 away, and now Reggie Smith pops the first double to right and homer. His double to right was an unusual one, as he hit a Baltimore chop over Danny Cater's head. Andrews, who was on first, scored all the way from first. Before Blefary could retrieve the ball and get it in. Pitch to Reggie, strike one called. One out, nobody on. Bottom of the seventh. Red Sox leading 5-0. Klimkowski winds. Change up is high, ball two. Check that 1-1. Reggie Smith, switch hitter. He holds that bat high over his head. Low with the fastball, 2 miles. On deck, Carl Yastrzemski. The 2-1 delivery, swing and a miss. 2-2. Just did nick it. Foul tip. You get the sign from Russ Getz. 2 of the home runs by the Red Sox tonight, Andrews and Yastrzemski, have gone to straightaway center field bleachers. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, got him. Got the tough Reggie Smith. Second strikeout for Klimkowski, and it brings up Yastrzemski. He has singled, homered, and bounced to short. He has also stolen a base. The pitch to Yaz hits the outside corner, strike call. Low, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Tony C on deck. The 1-1 pitch is bounced to first base. Cater has it. He'll make the play unassisted, and that's all for Yastrzemski. 3 up, 3 down, and now at the end of 7 full innings, it's the Red Sox 5, the Yankees nothing.
Boston leading, and Siebert is pitching a no-hitter, trying for his second in the Major Leagues. Pitching one for the Cleveland Indians a few years back against the Washington Senators. Satriano's throw goes on down to second base. We're set for action. The second time this year the Yankees have gone this long without a base hit. They won that game against Jim Rooker at Yankee Stadium, but it was only 1-0 when he was pitching the no-hitter. This one's 5-0. But anything can happen in baseball. Let's see what happens at the top of the 8th. Bill?
Thurman Munson, who has been robbed of 2... Thurman Munson, who has been robbed of 2 base hits, a fine play by Mike Andrews in the second inning to throw him out, and a line drive to Canigliaro in the 5th inning. A ball was rising when Tony caught it. So Tony Siebert, 6 outs away from a no-hitter. The pitch is outside, ball 1. On deck, Kurt Blefary. Siebert winds. His pitch is in there. Strike called, 1-1. You can hear the crowd on all the strikes. On the balls, they hold their breath, and every time a ball is hit, they hold their breath. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a foul, back out of play. Sonny Siebert has walked 2 and struck out just 2. He has not been overpowering. One ball, 2 strikes on Thurman Munson. The windup. And a pitch high and tight, 2-2. Thurman had a duck down as the ball went over his head. The Red Sox defense on their toes. They played Petrocelli made last inning to save the no-hitter at Dandy. They're ready to do it again. High and tight, ball 3. Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, Siebert ready for the payoff pitch. Here it comes. Swing and a drive to deep left field. Canigliaro back by the fence and makes the catch just in front of the scoreboard. Billy Canigliaro played that very well. He went back, touched the fence, knew he couldn't go back anymore, then was able to come in the 1 step to make the play. 1 out, and we pause for station identification.
The Yankees at home and away on WGY Schenectady.
All right, the pitch to Blefary is inside ball 1. If you remember, we had mentioned that the wind had just changed direction. Instead of blowing straight out, it started to blow from left field to right field. And that was the difference in that ball hitting the fence and being caught. Kurt Blefary, pop to third, pop to the pitcher, takes the pitch low, ball 2, 2-0.
You're right, Phil, and a fellow like Blefary now will be helped by the change of direction because it's blowing just about straight out towards right field.
All right, 2-0 the count, and you can see the fans are umpiring now. They thought that last one should have been a strike. The pitch inside ball 3. He's probably being a little careful with Kurt Blefary, knowing the home run Blefary hit last night. The 3-0 delivery. High ball 4 on 4 pitches. Blefary walks. That's the 3rd walk given up by Sonny Siebert. And it brings up Ron Hansen, who has bounced to short and struck out. And coming out on deck, Pete Ward will bat for Ron Klimkowski. Blefary at first base. The Red Sox leading 5-0 in the 8th. Pitch to Hansen, foul, and he was trying to go to right field with Yastrzemski holding Blefary at first. Hansen trying to punch one in the hole between first and second. Ron Hansen playing in place of Gene Michael. Blefary with a short lead. The stretch and the pitch popped up. Coming back near the screen. Satriano back, and it hits just barely on the edge of the screen. By about an inch and a half, Hansen has a life.
Yeah, they say Fenway's a tough park to pitch a no-hitter, and you think of the wall out in left field, but there's another case. Just that little bit of room in foul territory.
That's true. You don't get too many chances for the catcher with foul balls because there isn't that much room behind home plate. So everything should be against Sonny Siebert. But so far, he's battled the elements, battled the Yankees. An 0-2 pitch coming up to Hansen. Here it is, a curve a little bit high. You heard the crowd moan. They thought the curve was in there. Listen to them. They are really. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And listen, if I were Russ Getz, should Hansen get a base hit now instead of being struck out, I think I'd run out to the middle of the diamond to be safe.
This is close. He's going to swing, Phil.
And now Satriano is arguing with Russ Getz a little bit, and the crowd gives Satriano a hand. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 5-0 the Red Sox lead in the top of the 8th. The stretch by Siebert. Pitch to Hansen. Almost hit him. 2-2. Pete Ward still swinging the bat on deck. Siebert really taking his time out there, and you can't blame him. Now he stretches. Side on pitch to Hansen. Line to left field. Canigliaro back on the warning track. He's there. Makes the catch. And it's 2 out. And now Pete Ward. Ward back Mike Kekic is up in the Yankee bullpen. Pete Ward. Sonny Siebert just 4 outs away from getting in the record book. Horace Clark on deck. Stretch by Siebert. Pitch to Ward. It's a curve over. Strike one call. I don't have to tell you. The reaction of the crowd will tell you if it's a strike or a ball or an out or a hit. Triano gives the sign. Pete Ward stands way back from home plate. The pitch by Siebert, a little bit low. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Kurt Cleffrey is at first base. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Siebert into the set position. Curve bounce to second base. Right at Andrews. He's up with it. Throws to Yastrzemski in time. Just 3 outs to go. No runs, no hits, no errors. Night so far here at Fenway Park. We're going to have some big days, the big stars at Yankee Stadium. And probably Siebert will get a chance to pitch in that Boston Red Sox series at Yankee Stadium. In fact, you'd have to be pretty sure of it. The way he's been pitching here, the Red Sox will be in for 4 games at Yankee Stadium. Friday night, the 26th, Saturday afternoon, the 27th, and a big doubleheader on Sunday, the 28th. So come on out and see these 2 great rivals go at it, the Yankees and the Red Sox. Certainly, the 2 games we've had up here at Fenway is just adding a little salt to the wounds when these 2 clubs go at it at Yankee Stadium. Get your tickets early. There'll be a lot of New Englanders down for that series. The Yankees and the Red Sox. Box seats at the stadium are $4. Reserve seats $2.75. Come on out to the big ballpark and see some exciting baseball. Go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and Mike Kekic comes on to pitch for the New York Yankees. Kekic, the left-hander, pitched in the game Wednesday night at Chicago. Has a record of 2 wins and 1 loss. And Kekic will not be in the spotlight at this particular point. Most of the fans just waiting for the top of the 9th. The Red Sox have a 5-0 lead. Sonny Siebert pitching a no-hitter. Let's look ahead to the top half of the 9th inning. The Yankees will have the top of the order, so they'll have a good shot at Siebert in the 9th. Now, we mentioned the last no-hitter for the Red Sox was by Dave Moorhead several seasons back. They came close in the interim in 1967, opening game of the season at Yankee Stadium. Billy Rohr almost pitched a no-hitter. He got within 1 out of a no-hitter. He had 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Elston Howard, who's a coach tonight for the Yankees, got a base hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning to break up Billy Rohr's bid. And I remember, we won't be able to find this in the book, but Jim Lonborg had one going for about 6 or 7 innings in the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Through 8 innings, Sonny Siebert has thrown 108 pitches, and the Yankees have hit several balls hard, but no base hits. All right, Mike Kekic set to pitch to Tony Canigliaro. Kekic into the windup. Here's the pitch, high and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strike. Kekic, the left-hander, into the windup. In comes the pitch. It's a call. Strike 1. It's 1-1 to Tony Canigliaro. Canigliaro is 0 for 3. Struck out and flied out to center field twice. Ground ball hits to Hanson's left. He makes a nice play behind second. Throw to first. Got him. Beautiful play by Ron Hanson. One great thing about this Yankee ball club this year, when somebody does get hurt, as happened tonight, with a minor injury to Gene Michael, Ron Hansen has done a better than average job at shortstop. One out, here's Rico Petrocelli. Rico's 1 for 3. He's getting the big hand because of his great tack in the 7th inning of a line drive. Here's the pitch. High and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Kekich, the California lefty, delivers. A swing and a high pop-up out of play. Foul, first base side. The ball floating into the lower deck. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Red Sox lead 5-0. Sonny Siebert pitching a no-hitter through 8 innings. We're now in the bottom of the 8th. And Kekich is trying to mop things up for the Yankees here. 1-1 the count. Stottlemyre and Peterson will go the next 2 nights. Fastball, swing and a miss. Strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody's left. 32,000 plus. The capacity crowd here at Fenway Park. A windup. And the pitch. High and inside, it's 2-2. Early in the game, the Yankees were really socking the ball off, Steve. Unbelievable line drives being caught. But of late, he has been the master. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 3. It's 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Red Sox batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 5-0. Red Sox with 7 hits, the Yankees with none. Mike Kekich winds, the 3-2 pitch, low and inside, ball 4. So Petrocelli draws a base on ball. And he'll bring up George Scott. Scott is 0 for 3. See, Baltimore's winning their nightcap from Washington 2-0 after 1. Orioles won the first game 12-10. So the Yankees could wind up 3 games out of first place after tonight. But you'd still have to say it's been a good road trip. Should the Red Sox win this, the Yankees would still have won 5 out of 7. Here's the pitch. Scott takes strike 1, it's called. No balls with 1 strike. Red Sox have had 14 no-hit games over the years. The 0-1 pitch. Scott takes high for a ball, 1-1. Goes back to Cy Young in 1904. Some of you old-timers will remember these names. Jesse Tannehill, also in 1904. Bill Dineen in 1905. Cy Young again, 1908. Joe Wood in 1911. The stretch. Kekich to George Scott. Swing, line drive, hit down the right field line. Is slicing, but it stays fair. Bounding around in the corner of right field. Bluffrey is after it. Fouling the third is Petrocelli. They're going to send it in. Bluffrey throws on indicator. Going to third is George Scott. And George has a triple. George Scott triples to right field. And that is the 4th triple for George Scott. You wouldn't think of a big fellow like Scott as being a triples hitter. But I guess that's where he gets them, down the right field line. They play him way over the pole. There's a lot of room in right field, and he just sliced it in there. 3 bases, the Red Sox 6, and the Yankees nothing. Here's Billy Canigliaro, the left fielder. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Mike Kekich winds, delivers high and outside, ball 1. Continuing with Red Sox no-hitters, Joe Wood in 1911, George Foster in 1916, Dutch Leonard in 1916, Ernie Shaw in 1917, Dutch Leonard again in 1918. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul ball up against the mezzanine and back into the sky view boxes. That took quite a bounce. Emke had one in 1923. Mel Parnell in 1956. Man, they went a long time without a no-hitter. From 1923 to 1956. And Earl Wilson in 62. And Billy Mambo-Kid, who's now a Yankee scout in 62. Pitches on the corner, strike 2. Bill Mambo-Kid is the Yankee scout here in the New England area. And then Dave Moorhead in 1965. That was the last one for the Red Sox. We mentioned Billy Rohr came within 1 out in Yankee Stadium. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The windup. Here's the pitch. Swing. Fly ball hit deep to center field. Mercer going back. He's there, turns, and he makes the catch. Tagging up is George Scott, and here he comes. 7-0 Boston. Sacrifice fly for Billy Canigliano. And all this, in a way, adds more tension to the no-hitter because Red Sox are just about putting the game out of the woods, leading 7-0. If anybody gets a hit in the ninth inning, there's going to be a mass exodus. The pitch to Satriano is high for a ball. 2 outs, nobody on. On deck is Sonny Siebert. And he's getting a hand just coming out of the on-deck circle. 1 ball and no strikes for Satriano. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul ball back. 1-1. Last no-hitter in a Red Sox ball game was 1968. Tommy Phoebus pitched one for Baltimore against Boston. Second delivered inside for a ball, and it's 2-1. Bottom of the 8th, Boston 7, Yankees nothing. The windup and the pitch, swing and a bounce to the first base. Danny Cater, belt high, has it, steps on the bag. That's it. In the top half of the 8th inning, the Red Sox get 2 runs, 1 hit, no Yankee errors, and nobody left on. And we go to the 9th inning. Sonny Siebert now back in the dugout, taking off his warm-up jacket. He's coming out to try and pitch a no-hitter. The score, Boston 7 and the Yankees nothing. For Sonny Siebert, it is a standing ovation. Over 32,000 on their feet as Siebert tries to pitch a no-hitter here in Fenway Park in Boston. And don't forget, the Red Sox will be in at Yankee Stadium. Man, this has been some series. It's only half over after tonight's ball game. We got 2 more, but then they'll be coming into Yankee Stadium for a big weekend series. Friday night the 26th. Saturday afternoon the 27th. Sunday the 28th, a doubleheader. The Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. So we've got a lot of big activity for you at Yankee Stadium. Hope to see you out. And in that series, we have to say, hope to see you out whether you're with the Yankees or against them. There's a lot of Red Sox fans in some of our listening audience, upstate New York and southern New England. We go to the top half of the 9th inning. Sonny Siebert pitching a no-hitter against the New York Yankees. The Red Sox leading at 7-0. And Horace Clark, Jerry Kenney, and Bobby Mercer will be the batters for the Yankees. Awful lot of people with Sonny Siebert right now. A lot of times you have a 1-0 game, and a lot of the partisans to the opposition, of course, they still hope to win the ball game. When you get along about 7-0, it's an awful lot to ask for a club to come up with 8 runs. Horace Clark gets set to step in. Horace has popped out to the catcher. Pops to third on the 3-2 pitch, and pops to third again. He's 0 for 3. Sonny Siebert, the big right-hander, into the windup. The pitch to Clark, inside ball 1. Horace broke up Jim Rooker's no-hitter, leading off the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. How is this for history repeating itself? And Horace is leading off the 9th inning against Sonny Siebert, who has a no-hitter. Here it comes. It's low, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes to Horace Clark. And again, there's a little less pressure on Siebert because he's already pitched a no-hitter. 2-0 the count. Sonny Siebert into the windup. In comes the pitch. Swing, line drive, hit out over second base. Here comes Canigliano. Big, get it, base hit. Horace Clark singles. Goes halfway between first and second and goes back, and Horace has done it again. The Yankees have broken up the no-hitter. How do you like that? Horace Clark leading off the 9th, just as he did against Jim Rooker. No doubt about it, a solid line drive. Here's Jerry Kenney. Kenney has walked wide to center and popped out to the catcher. The stretch. Clark with the lead. The pitch. Kenney swings. There's a drive. Hit deep to left center field. Way back. Canigliano going back. He jumps. And he can't get it. It's off the fence. Horace Clark on his way to third. Kenney to second. They're both safe. So bang, bang, a single by Clark, a double by Kenney. Yankees still have a long way to go, but they're starting to hit the ball. We mentioned earlier the way they were socking the ball. Earlier in the ball game, hitting rocket shots. And we commented at the time that it would be the craziest no-hitter since Bobo Holloman. When he got hit all over the park, but everybody came up with the ball. However, in the last couple innings, Siebert was mowing him down. He has not been overpowering. He only has a couple of strikeouts. We're going to have some activity now in the Boston Red Sox bullpen. In the meantime, second and third. A windup. The pitch to Mercer. Swing, a bounding ball foul outside of first. Just announcing on the PA what we gave you a moment ago that Clark broke up Rooker's no-hitter. That's Cal Kuntz, the former Met who's throwing for the Red Sox. They just picked him up a week or so back. The other man is Sparky Lyle from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. 7-0 the Red Sox. Yankees at second and third. Nobody out in the ninth inning. All right, Sonny Siebert looks in to get the sign. It's 0-1 to Bobby Mercer. Siebert into the windup. And the pitch. Slow curve. Line drive. Base hit to right field. It's down the line going over to get it. Tony Conigliaro. 2-run score. Bobby Mercer holds at first. It's 7-2. And how do you do? 3 hits in a row for the Yankees. And time is called. And Eddie Casco coming out to the mound. So 2 RBIs for Mercer. Is it possible? 7-2, the Red Sox lead it, and here comes Roy White up to the bat. Pretty hard to take out Sonny Siebert at this point after the Yankees pitch. Wouldn't that be something? However, still a long way to go, but there's nobody out. A single by Clark, a double by Kenny, a single by Mercer. It's 7-2, and here's Roy White. These Yankees go down trying when they go down, and it hasn't been too often that they've gone down lately. The stretch, check of the runner. The pitch to Roy White. Swing long drive to right field. Conigliaro going back. It is high. It is far. It is gone. A home run. Way back over the bullpen and into the bleachers. Sonny Siebert. He pitched a no-hitter till the ninth inning. He's given up a single, a double, and a tremendous home run. It's 7-4, and there goes the card to the bullpen, and Siebert is finished. Roy White's first hit in the series. 7-4. 2 more RBIs for White. That gives him 48. His 11th home run of the season. Oh, man. A no-hitter till the ninth inning. And it's now 7-4, and it's just like starting the ninth inning over again because there's nobody out, nobody on. Now, we mentioned they had Sparky Lyle, the lefty. And here's the hand to Siebert. Pitch for Boston is Sparky Lyle. We had lunch with Sparky today, and he hasn't been going well for Boston. He said his big problem has been getting the ball over the plate. He got off to a great start in the month of April, but since April was over, Sparky hasn't had it for Boston. He's 0-2. His ERA is 5.47. 26 in the third innings. He's given up 18 runs and 22 hits. Sparky's walked 22, struck out 18. Man, if you just tuned in, you've missed a thrilling night here at Fenway Park. Red Sox were leading 7-0 coming into the ninth, and Sonny Siebert pitching a no-hitter. There's nobody out in the ninth. 4 runs are in. It's 7-4. And Danny Cater coming up for the Yankees. Cater, Munson, and Blefary. Not too many people left. We figured if the Yankees got a hit in the ninth, that there'd be a mass exodus. Well, if they started to go, they came back. But who would believe that they'd break it up like this? Bombs away, single, double, single, home run. Here's Danny Cater. Danny's looking for his first hit in the series. He's 0 for 3. 7-4 Boston. Top of the ninth. Nobody out, and Cater the batter, nobody on. So Sparky Lyle has come on to pitch. Sparky into the windup, the left-hander to Cater. Swing, a high bounding ball down the third base line. Coming in fast with Scott. Up with it, throw to first, out. 1 out. So Sparky Lyle comes out of the bullpen, and Cater goes for the first one and bounces out to Scott. Here's Thurman Munson. Munson was robbed of a base hit in the second inning when he hit a bouncer that was just touched by the pitcher Siebert, and then Mike Andrews made a fine play. Then he hit a long drive. It was a big out, a solid shot to right field, and then he slid out deep to left field, so he's hit it well. All 3 times up. 1 out. Pitch to Munson. Swing and a miss, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. 7-4 Boston, top of the ninth. Wind up by Lyle. The pitch, swing, line drive hit the left field. Here comes Canigliaro. Billy makes the catch. And Munson has been robbed tonight. 4 times he's hit it on the nose, and he's 0 for 4. 2 outs, and Kurt Leffery will not bat against the lefty. Ron Woods will pinch hit. Now the exodus begins as Woods steps in. 2 outs in the ninth. So Sparky Lyle has found the range here in the ninth inning. Thrown 3 pitches and gotten 2 outs. The pitch to Ron Woods. Check swing, a little roll down the first base line. Could be the ball game. Picked up by Yaz. Tags Woods, and the game is over. What a job by Lyle. 4 pitches, 3 outs. For the Yankees in the ninth inning. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors, nobody left. The game's over. The final score, Boston 7 and New York 4.
Hi, fans. This is Thurman Munson of the New York Yankees speaking. Celebrate the midsummer holiday, the 4th of July, at Yankee Stadium. Yes, Saturday, July 4th, will be Yankee Ball Day. Every young fan, 14 and under, accompanied by an adult, will receive a fine Wilson Little League baseball with the Yankee team name printed on each one. Good seats are available now at all Yankee ticket outlets for Ball Day, when Ted Williams and his colorful Washington Senators will be facing our up-and-coming Yankees. So, kids, be sure to get Mom and Dad to take you out to Yankee Stadium on Saturday afternoon, July the 4th, for the big Ball Day event, with the Washington Senators meeting our New York Yankees. Let's have a ball.
Sox stopped the Yankees tonight at Fenway Park by a score of 7-4. That does not tell the whole story. Sonny Siebert sitting to pick up his second no-hitter since he's been in the major leagues. Came within 3 outs of doing it, and it was Horace Clark who broke it up just as he broke up Jim Rooker's no-hitter at Yankee Stadium. Clark led off the ninth inning with a solid line drive base hit to right field. Penny followed with a double off the left field wall. Mercer followed with a single to right, and Roy White put it in the bleachers. And bang, bang, it was 7-4. Enter Sparky Lyle. 4 pitches, 3 outs, and there's the ball game. Going back over the Boston scoring, Mike Andrews hit a home run in the first inning. And they scored in the third inning as Andrews singled and scored on Smith's double to make it 2-0. In the fifth, a walk to Andrews, a home run by Smith, a home run by Yastrzemski right after that.